Hello, everybody. Welcome to what I'm calling our Mastering Business Authority, the MBA series. This is part 7 we're doing today. And this one, for this particular episode of the MBA training series, I'm calling it Business in a Box. Everything you need to know and do to start your online business right. And part of why I create this series, just so you all know, some of you have been seeing these before. Maybe this is your first one of this series, but I run into a lot of common problems with a lot of my clients and other people I'm witnessing working in the industry trying to grow their business. And I see some issues and I go, okay, well, let me put a training together around that to help minimize the challenges, the hurdles that you have to go through for that. So we're going to jump into a screen share here, but it's going to keep me on the video on the side, assuming I set it all up right. So let's give that a quick try here. Share screen, and away we go. Awesome. All right. So there you see it. This is, as I mentioned, business in a box, everything you need to know and do to start your business online. And my goal is to give you the basic requirements. And I promise you might be missing a thing or two, even if you've been in business for a while. But these are going to be the things you really need to do to set yourself up for business success. Now, this is going to be part strategy, part tips, tactics, and tools, and all valuable. And while this training may be foundational, it's also going to dig into so much more than that. Okay, so anyone can look at someone else's webinar, or you can look at their sales page or their website. And literally, I do this a lot myself. I check out their website, I check out the stuff, and I see something I like, I think. And often, especially when you first start out, you may even think to yourself, oh, okay, cool, I can replicate that. But what's often missing is the what I would call the fundamental pre and post action steps and the processes that are essential to truly create success. And so my goal today is to break these down for you and to get you set up right. But first, I want to go into why you should trust me. I am a 7-figure entrepreneur. I used to be a professional actor. That was my first career. My degrees are in acting, and right out of college, I knew I wanted to be an actor since fourth grade. And right into college, got my degrees, and I did act professionally for 20 years. But all that time, I was supporting myself as an entrepreneur. I had my own business supporting other actors. I did a lot of other work that was all more entrepreneurial based. And of course, through this development, it's allowed me to ultimately reach becoming a 7-figure entrepreneur today. I'm also in this process of starting businesses, plural. I'm the founder of the Authority Academy, and I am also the international best-selling author of the Zero to Launch Podcast Accelerator. Podcasting is one of the things that I teach, and I do have a course based on that same name, Zero to Launch Podcast Accelerator. I'm the host of 6 of my own podcasts, varying fields and topics. And I am also a Mensa member. For any of you who know what Mensa is, it's the High IQ Society. And finally, last but not least, I'm also the founder of Infinite List, which we'll talk a little bit about today as well. So I'm not going to go deep into story, especially because you can learn about me in various ways, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on these training series to do that. But I did want to give a quick outline so that maybe you have an idea as to why you should trust me. Okay. So now that's enough about me, but let me tell you how when I started, honestly, I didn't know squat. And I don't know about you guys, but I was just trying to cobble things together on the fly. I was doing exactly what I mentioned before. I was trying to imitate what I was seeing. And I learned later that was a huge mistake. Now, did I learn? Yeah, absolutely. I learned quite a bit. Did I grow as an entrepreneur? Absolutely. Most certainly did grow as an entrepreneur. So you may be going, well, what was the mistake that I made? Well, here it is. For starters, since I was trying to bootstrap things, okay, I was trying to do everything on the cheap, just copy and other stuff that I was seeing. It made my learning curve so much longer, taking way more time than it probably should have. And have you ever found yourself doing that? Where you're trying to do things as cheaply as you possibly can, only to find that it's costing you incredibly more in time, lost opportunity, and sometimes even in your enthusiasm. Okay. So in hindsight, I can tell you this. I could have hit seven figures much faster and saved a lot of money in the process had I just learned what to do and not do outside of that realm of imitation. Okay, I hope everybody's picking up what I'm laying down here. It's like there is replication and there's imitation, but there's also the understanding that has to go with that. So before I get ahead of myself, though, let's start with a few basics. These are the first questions that you really need to ask and answer for yourself before you even begin to build a freaking plan. Okay. And so, the first question is, let's jump to that next slide here. What is it that you plan to sell? That's the first thing you got to ask yourself. What is it I'm going to sell? Do you want to create a group coaching program or a paid mastermind? Do you see yourself creating a paid membership community? Something in your area of expertise? Do you imagine that you're going to offer some other form of product or program to sell? So I want you to think about this right now. Remember, this is a workshop. We're actually going to, roll up the sleeves a little bit. I want you guys making some notes for yourself and doing some work. So of the things that you could possibly sell, we're going to list a few here that are the key ones that you probably have considered if you're in the what we call the infopreneur business. You're an expert, you're putting out your work, your message in the world. So one, you might want to create an online course or online courses. I have multiple online courses. It's one thing you could create and sell. A coaching program. I also have coaching programs that I do. Masterminds. And by the way, as I'm putting here, you notice it says choose and rank. I'm not saying limit yourself. I do all of these, but I do them in a rank of priority, which is my first one, which is second, based on the revenue they can generate. Maybe you do events. There are a lot of people who do live events and they sell tickets to those events, and those events generate the bulk of their revenue just on the events. Membership site. Maybe that's something that you would like to do. And there's SaaS, software as a service. Okay, think of places like ClickFunnels or Entreport even, which we'll talk a little bit about later. These are just a small smattering of the things that you could offer and sell. So I want you to think for yourself. And if you're already in it, you already know your answers to these. If you're not, pick one. Where do you want to start? All right. So you got to start there. What do you have to offer? Okay. Next, once you've dialed this in, but not even until you know this, then you need to look at step number 2 to business success, which is who is going to buy your stuff? Who will your buyers be? You've got to define your ideal buyer. And if you say everybody, I got to say you're just being foolish. Okay. Not even Facebook, with over 3.3 billion users, is right for everybody. Think about it. A 2-year-old's not going to be using Facebook, at least not yet, hopefully. A blind person is likely not going to be using Facebook. Not even Facebook with 3.3 billion users is right for everyone. Neither is your stuff. So you need to be specific. All right. As you create what we would call this buyer avatar. We'll get a little more into that in a moment, but you need to be specific and be reasonable. Now, I mentioned that, I did a lot of entrepreneurism supporting my acting and everything else before getting into what I do today. And I was in the venture capital world for a while. And I can tell you that if you exaggerate your market potential, you'll be laughed out of a Series A funding round. Like literally, if we'd gone in to ask for funding from VCs and we would say, yeah, our market is everybody. They would have thought you didn't do your homework. You don't know what you're talking about. Same thing applies here. You got to dial in your ideal client avatar. That's typically what is called in the industry. Sometimes you could abbreviate that to ICA, ideal client avatar. And you got to look at what is their specifics. Okay, so we're going to dig into just a few of the specifics, and then I'm going to give you some leeway. So age range. Okay. Now you might say, I deal with anybody over 50, and that's great. That's an age range. But for the idea of really dialing in, pick a specific age, 55, maybe even. Okay. But an age range is fine. What is their income level? Are they making 40 to 50,000 a year, more than 100,000 a year? What is their income level? What is their current situation? Okay, so let's think about that from the business perspective. Are they new to business? Are they, have they been at it for a while? Are they already earning 6 figures, or are they in the 7-figure range? What is their current situation with their business or wherever it is that you help them with? Challenges. What are the challenges that your ideal client avatar is facing? You got to look at that. Are they suffering from obesity? Are they lonely, can't find a partner? Are they broke and just need to figure out how to get more clients? What are their challenges? Gender, and I put a question mark after this one. I know some people that work with us in Infinite List and other of my coaching clients deal specifically like I coach men or I coach women. If you are gender specific, know that. Put it in there as part of your client avatar. Location. Where are they located geographically? If you only work with people in a region, let's say you only work with people in the United States, or you only work with people in some other country, or you only work with people who speak English or not, or other languages, what are the other things that you can be specific about your ideal client avatar? Okay. So here's the thing. You got to remember, be very specific in dialing this in because it's also going to help you to dial in your messaging. And I like to put it this way. If you're trying to go after too many, too much, the old adage applies. The fox that chases two rabbits goes hungry. Okay. You won't capture any of them. Be specific at first. You can always spread out later. But as you're starting your business to set yourself up for success, pick your target. Okay. So now you know what you're going to sell and who your ideal buyer is. Well, what's next? Okay, we're going to do a little sidebar here. And what I mean about this is that, well, here's the thing. We haven't even really started to build your offer, your course, your book, nothing yet. We've said what it's going to be potentially, but I don't want you thinking even about building it. All we know is that you plan to sell something. And you, now at this point, you've got it dialed in a little bit at least of who's going to buy it. Well, guess what? This is going to be a little bit of a side piece here that may strike some of you as crazy, but trust me, it's not. As a matter of fact, this is what I would call a signature process that a lot of entrepreneurs, the savvy ones especially, are using. Okay. Here's the thing. We need to start now to attract those potential buyers. Now, notice I say attract, not sell. Jumping straight into selling is a huge mistake that so many beginning entrepreneurs make. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't make an offer if you've got something ready to go, okay? But I'm saying this. Let's build the buyer list first. Build some enthusiasm, generate some interest. I cannot even begin to tell you how many people I've seen who've even come to me in my podcasting stuff, and they're like, well, I'm going to write my book, or I'm going to build my course, or I'm going to launch my program, and then I'm going to worry about getting an audience. Okay? Trust me when I tell you that that's ass backwards. Okay? You're going to flop because you've built this thing, but now you've got no one to sell it to. And now you're going to spend the next 6 months or a year trying to find buyers when you should have been creating the interest before and while crafting the product. Is this making sense for you all? Just put a quick yes in the chat if this is landing with you guys. And then we're going to show you what the signature process is, the way that you would really want to do it. Okay, great. It's landing. That's awesome. So if you've paid any attention, you've likely seen that most savvy entrepreneurs will sell their offering before they even build it. Now, here's what you do. You grow an interested audience. Okay, this is what I do, and I did it with my first course because I got an understanding of who my best potential buyers are going to be. And so we start to put out lead magnets to get these particular people to follow me. You build your audience first. Next, we start to craft the offer. Or better yet, we even do a little bit of market research with this list we've created, and we see what is it they need most. I'm sure you guys have gotten emails that say, hey, what is it you need the most support with? The entrepreneurs are looking for that feedback so they know what to create next. Okay, so now we know what you want. Next, we put together the offer. We reach out to our list and we say, hey, do you want to buy my online course? It's starting in 3 weeks. Jump in now. And then we're going to sell that course with that offer to as many people as we can. We actually collect the money. And then we build the course. we build the product. But we don't do that until we've sold it. All right. And then, by the way, while this may sound crazy, that's why I suggest a couple of things here. Sell the product, give it a start date. Okay. So when I first sold my podcasting course, way back when I did that, it was actually called, and I'm going to stop screen share here for a moment so I can just chat straight to you guys. When I sold my first course, it was called the Zero to Launch. It was zero to launch in 14 days. No, sorry. When I first created it, it was zero to launch in 28 days. It's been quite some time ago. Zero to launch in 28 days. And I offered it, but I hadn't even built the course yet. I kind of knew the outline, which is important as you're developing the concept. I had the outline, but I sold it first and I said, all right, it will open on, let's give it a date. I can't remember what it was, but let's say March 10th. All right. And I started selling it in February. I did not start to build it until I had enough buyers to know that it was worth the effort for me to build it. You guys got to really catch this, because if you don't sell enough people to make it worth doing, refund their money. What I did is I found enough people who were interested. So I go, cool, I've made enough to make it worth it for me to build. And especially because now I knew too that I could sell it again and again later. So I started to build it. The first module had to be ready by March 10th. That's all I had. And I was going to release these modules over time. So I built the first module. And while that one is being released, and now the people who bought the course are consuming that, I'm building the next module, which would be released 3 days later. And then the next one, 3 days after that. That's the drip method. And it is super effective for when you're out there trying to, sell a product, but you got to know that there's the interest beforehand. Okay. And you want to adopt this method for two big reasons. First, you're going to get to see who is actually willing to pay you for the course. And I got to say, I see this all the time. There's this crappy market research that people do by putting out a question saying, hey, would you be willing to pay for a course about XYZ? That's not a good litmus test, because it's easy for someone to say, oh, yeah, I'd buy that. But when they're not getting out their credit card, that's easy to say yes. The real test is when they actually have to pull out that card and pay you. So don't build it before then. And the other reason is if you don't sell enough to make it worth your time, you refund their money and you create something different. Or you figure out what was wrong with your marketing. Maybe you got to make the offer a little bit different, but you can still delay starting the course until you've got enough buyers to make it worth your while. Okay, I hope this is making sense for y'all, and that you probably are noticing here that the absolute key to this equation is you've got to have a list of followers to even make that offer to. Okay, now I'm going to do another little sidebar training here. I find myself running on lots of little tangents because there's so many little nuances that you really need to know. Okay, and I know many of you potentially even tuning into this right now have heard this before from your coaches. I know that just in the last couple of weeks, I've experienced at least two people that I've met at events or been talking to me about joining Infinite List, and they're saying, "Oh yeah, my coach is walking me through this, and I'm getting ready to, launch my program, my offer." And I'm here to tell you that they're putting the cart before the horse. If your coach is telling you that you don't need a list and that you can wrangle up partners who are going to promote your course for you, I got to say, what the heck are they talking about? I attend a joint venture event every year that's called JBX Live. Maybe some of you have been there or at least heard of it before. And they do a fun segment of that event that they call Shark Attack, which is kind of like, if you've ever seen Shark Tank, but in this case, you've got potential joint venture partners. And if you don't know what JVs are, there's one of my video trainings in my YouTube channel. I recommend you watch on it, but it talks about affiliate revenue streams. And so anyway, for the last few years, I've been invited to be one of the sharks. And these are high-level 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurs with big lists and followings. And we're sitting on the stage there. There's usually about 8 of us. And we get pitched by a relative newbie who wants us to promote their offer. And it's a lot of fun, and it's very educational for the shark bait. That's what they call the people putting the offer to us. They're going to pitch us. But here's the thing. Each and every one of us has zero interest in pitching you, promoting you if you're a complete noob. I want you to think about it. We've got big name partners with huge lists. Why would we want to promote someone who's just starting out? We want to promote someone who can reciprocate, and that means someone with a nice size list. And of course, there are rare exceptions, but you kind of get the gist. All right. And when I say exceptions, and here I'll just go back to a slide here so y'all see what I'm talking about. Okay, so don't be fooled. As I mentioned, no savvy entrepreneur with a sizable list is going to promote you until you're playing in the same ballpark, unless they're a close personal friend or you pay them to do it. The big mistake, though, is if you don't have a list of your own that's a decent size, you're the only people who are going to promote you are going to be other people with very small lists. Okay, and the results are going to be more lackluster than blockbuster, as my friend Nancy Jutton puts it. The bottom line of all this is that you have got to start building your list ASAP. I mean, right out of the blocks, as they say. In order to do that, you're going to need a CRM. Okay, now remember, I said this is the basic, things, requirements of a business in a box. You got to have a CRM. A CRM, step three to your business, that is your customer relationship manager. It's your software. It's software as a service. Okay. And it's important that this is going to be the thing that's going to collect and hold your database, your list, if you will, and it'll handle your what's called an autoresponder. Now, when I started out coaching over a decade ago, like most software, and any of you who've been at it for a while will remember this, it was very piecemeal. You'd have one system for your email list, you'd have another one to build your landing pages, and another place for your website. And you'd even have to figure out how to get all these to work with your shopping cart so you could collect money. So then there was this thing called Zapier, which is still around today, and a lot of people are still piecemealing. But you had to be able to connect all these to work together. Well, nowadays, most of the platforms have expanded to become all-in-one services. Just like the when the fax printer copier all came into one unit. It's kind of like that. It's evolving into a single machine. Well, the same thing is happening in the industry with all of these different softwares that you need. And when it comes to CRMs, there are a lot to choose from. Okay, and I'm not going to go into the big list of those, but I will tell you this, some are better for beginners, while others will appeal to the seasoned pros. And in choosing which way to go, you've got to consider what matters most. And my recommendation is be growth minded. Okay. Think about the cost over time, not just what it's going to cost you today, which maybe it's doing it, priced because you got a small list, but think about what's it going to be like when my list is, up to 5,000. What's it going to be when my list is 10,000? Okay. Am I going to have to start to pay enormous add-on fees? Will the service actually handle all of my needs or just most of them? Will I need to get outside additional software and an additional fee to accomplish the other things I need? Okay. So think about it in these terms. What's the cost over time? How good is the email automation that it can do? Can it handle automations that you say, hey, send out this email? And then a day later, check to see who didn't open that first email and send those who did not open. That's called your unopens. Send to them. Can it handle that? A lot of systems won't. But it's a super important thing if you really want to improve your marketing and stop leaving money on the table. All right. So you don't want to start with a system that's going to save you a few bucks now that, is just really not going to help you to grow down the road. Because another thing you're going to need it to do is tagging. Tagging means when someone comes into your world, like all of you who opted in for this today, you signed up for my MBA series number 7. Well, it created a tag in my system to say you chose to sign up and register for this. And by the way, you're already on my list. So some of you may be thinking, well, why do I have to give my email again? This is why. It's for tagging purposes. So I know that you showed an interest in this. This way, down the road, later, I could go, hey, let me send out an email to all those people who came to that workshop that I did on, the business in a box. Because you're tagged, I can now sort by that tag and email you specifically. Okay. So I hope this is making sense. Tagging is super important. What is your robustness of it? Is it going to do everything that you need it to do in a big way? Okay, because that's super important because the all-in-ones nowadays, I'm telling you, it could be your website, your membership site, it can house your online course, it can handle your email marketing. Some of them now will even handle your calendar and more. It really goes on and on. And so the more robust it is, the more value you're going to get out of it for yourself. And one of the things that you want to look for, this is a little more advanced, but I do recommend start out right away figuring this out. Can it handle affiliate tracking? Because guess what? If you were to approach me and say, "Hey, Michael, I would love for you to promote us," and let's say you've grown a little bit bigger in, the world, and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'll promote you. What do you got going on?" You need to have affiliate tracking because if I'm going to promote you, I need to know that when those sales happen, you're going to be able to reward me for it. That's how JV partnerships and affiliate marketing works. And if you don't have a way to track that, you are not going to get a partner to promote you, period. So you need to develop affiliate tracking. So make sure that your system can handle that. Now, there are outside ones you can do that are standalones like ThriveCart, but then you're going to have to pay a fee for that separately. And what about money collection? A lot of the basic CRMs like Aweber or MailChimp, they're not set up to have a shopping cart for you and collect money. At least they weren't last time I looked at them. They may have, as they've evolved, they may have gotten better. But you want to be able to collect money through the system. And that means you're going to need to have payment gateways and such set up. So you're going to need a system that is a little more robust than the others. And there's, of course, more different things that you may want it to do over time. Like I mentioned, handling membership and so forth. So you want it to match your needs. Okay. For online courses, I prefer Kajabi. And it is one of the CRMs that I have. By the way, I have three, three CRMs, which may sound crazy, but I use them for different things. Kajabi is where I house my online courses because it does it extremely well. It allows me to drip things out over time. It tracks how much someone has consumed my courses. This is super important. And other places don't do it as well. Other CRMs don't do it as well because Kajabi started out there. For email marketing, I prefer Entreport. And I like Entreport's email marketing because, like I just said a little bit ago, you can tell it, hey, if someone opens this email, send them this down this path. And if someone doesn't open it, send them down this path. And you can tell it to wait 2 days before it checks. And you can tell it all these other rules and instructions that allow it to set up real easily and manage your email marketing fantastically. And that's where Entreport started. And that's why they're better at that. And by the way, the links that you'll see there, and those are also going to be available for you inside the YouTube if you watch this later in playback. Those are my affiliate links. If you decide to use one of these devices, one of these CRMs, and you sign up with my link, I'll get notified and I'll get a little commission. And to thank you for that, I will spend an hour with you helping you get set up and onboarded on that platform. Okay, because I want you to have success with it. And those are both that I use and know super well, so I could be a big help to you. All right. So the other reason that I want to, tell you about some of this stuff is because when you're looking at them, there are going to be certain platforms that do what I call gold star service. And these are two of those that absolutely do. Okay. And finally, you got to look at, is it within your budget? What's it going to cost you? Because I look at this way, and I want to try to make sure you guys are looking at it like this as well. I'm going to stop share again for a moment. Stop share. This is key as you are considering what to do for your CRM. And I got to say this, don't be penny wise and pound foolish. Saving yourself $50 per month by choosing a cheaper software, but then having to spend 2, 3, 4 extra hours each month doing the work because it's harder to set things up or the learning curve is more dramatic, you've just wasted that savings you got. And that's just plain silly. And if you're thinking you'd rather put in those extra 2 hours to save those $50, say, wow, I'd rather save the $50 and put in that extra time, I really want you to start thinking bigger. You'd be better off spending those 2 hours creating your next offer to sell, making far more than the $50. Spend your time wisely. Wealth-minded people spend money to save time, while poverty-minded people will spend time to save money. I want that to land with you. So where do you fall? I look at it like this. I can always make more money, but I can never make more time. So pick your platform and set it up well. And if you use one of my affiliate links, like I mentioned, I'm going to give you that free one-on-one hour of personal support to get you set up for success. Now, once you're set up, you're going to need to develop the system within there for tagging. Okay. And I explained it a little bit before, but it's super important. And if you want, like if many of you have been tagged again because you jumped in today, my system will tag you accordingly. It allows for easier marketing, allows you to know the interests of someone who jumps into your list. So as an example, if you have multiple lead magnets, I have one on podcasting, I have another on list building, I have another one on summits, how to do virtual summits. So depending on which lead magnet they opt in for, I need to know that via the tag so I know what that person is really interested in, why they came into my world. Okay. Now, next, your CRM should be able to, and let's see if we can jump back to the slides here. Hopefully we will not keep getting that ghosting image that looks so weird. Let's see what happens. Okay, cool. I don't look as dark this time. Great. Okay, so next your CRM should be able to host your opt-in page. Oop, there's the tagging. We already talked about that. So I'm going to skip the slide for that to the next one. Step 5 is your opt-in page. Okay. Now, this should be a standalone page, and particularly what's known as a squeeze page, okay? And the reason it's called a squeeze page is because you don't want there to be a menu bar up top. Don't have your opt-in page be directly on your website. Send them to a squeeze page. No menu bar up top, no other links anywhere. Nothing to click on that page except opt in. And everything should be above the fold. You don't want them to have to scroll down. Now, you can watch one of my videos on lead magnets to see what I'm talking about. And you should be able to build this within your CRM. And if you can't build that opt-in page within your CRM, then pick a different CRM. Because having to create your opt-in page in another platform opens up the potential for far more errors and disconnects. So having it all within your CRM is way easier. Okay. Now, let's see what I have. If this is going to jump to the next one, it does. So I'm going to not jump to that yet because I still want to talk a little bit about the opt-in page. So on this opt-in page, when someone subscribes to your list, you're going to want to make sure it tags them, as we talked about, and it's going to fire off what is known as an auto response. This is where you send them the welcome email. When you guys opted in for this today, you got a welcome email, right? Okay. My autoresponder says, oh, so-and-so just opted in. Let's get that email out to them. And in that, you give them directions. And in the case of a lead magnet, you would give them directions on how to collect the free gift that you just offered. Okay. You're also going to want that opt-in page to send them to your thank you page. That's the next piece here. Upon successfully subscribing. Building this page within your CRM is also a big benefit. Or you can do like I do, but I'm not necessarily suggesting it, but I hop back and forth between my two CRMs. I hop back and forth between Entreport and Kajabi. And I do that because Kajabi, I think, builds nicer landing pages than Entreport. And so I use them each, and they work well together too. All right. So we're up to step 6, but let's do a quick review. Okay. Just a refresher, and especially for those of you who may have come in a little bit late, now we're just going to go over what are we talking about business in a box. Number 1, you know what you're going to sell. Number 2, you know who you're going to sell it to. Number 3, you got to have your CRM set up. Number 4, your CRM is ready to tag people. Number 5, you've built that opt-in page and hopefully within the CRM. And number 6, you've also created your thank you page. It's all done and ready to go. Now, you may notice something's a little missing in this. We've skipped the part about creating your lead magnet. And I'm going to have you go and watch my other training on lead magnets for you to get that created, okay? But it's essential for you to have built that because that's where you're going to offer people to come in. That's the whole thing of the opt-in page. They're opting in for your lead magnet. Okay. But I'm not doing that training here today. That's a separate training you're going to want to do. Craft your lead magnet. It's available on YouTube. Okay. It's called the Ultimate Lead Magnet Makeover. And while you're at it, I'm just going to pop that screen up there. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. There's lots of valuable trainings on how to get your business really up and rolling well. Okay. So once all of this is lined up, okay, you're going to need somewhere to store that lead magnet for delivery. By the way, I recommend your lead magnet be either a PDF or some other form of downloadable. Okay. It could be a link directly to a video page somewhere. That's also fine. But you want to have it delivered on what we call the delivery page. Okay, that's where they're going to go to collect it. Now, you might be saying, well, Michael, what's a delivery page? How do they get there? Well, it's a legitimate question. Remember, I said you're going to send them a welcome email with the delivery of your free lead magnet. That's when you give them a link to the delivery page. Not immediately, not on the thank you page. The email response goes out immediately. But when they opt in and they go to the thank you page, don't put your gift there. Okay? You do not want to put it there. You want to put it on a delivery page. You want to send them your free gift as an attachment or, like I said, a link to the thing. And here's why. Okay? If you don't do it this way, I know people who try to send their gift, their lead magnet, as an attachment. And I'm telling you, it's a big mistake. Okay? Whoops. There we go. We're in the delivery page here. And here's why it's a big mistake. The reason you want a delivery page is that if you send an attachment, delivering the gift as an attachment, there's a really good chance their firewall is going to block it and they will never receive that email because things with attachments tend to be spammy and risky. Okay, so it may not even get through. Number two, even if they do receive it as an attachment, they're going to be less likely to open that email or to click on it. I don't know about y'all, but as much scamming that's going on out in the world of people going, oh, hey, here's your invoice for this thing, and you know you never bought it, and they want you to click on this thing to open it, and it's probably got some form of a Trojan horse or virus in there. I don't click on anything that is attached if I don't know the person very well and I'm expecting it. So don't send it as an attachment. They won't click or open it. If you send it as a link in the email, though, you say in the email, hey, here's the free gift you asked for. Here's the link to go and get it, to grab your download. Guess what? Now they're going to click on that link to go somewhere. It's not an attachment. It's taking them outside of the email, opening up a browser, and this is going to improve your sender score. Okay. When you send emails and someone opens them, that improves your score. If they scroll through and spend some time on it, it improves your score. And if they click on a link in your email, it improves your score, which means you will have better chances of ending up in the inbox and not in the spam folder. Okay. So get them to click on that link. And when they click on that link, they're going to be taken to the delivery page. And I got to tell you, high value real estate. They're a captive audience. They're there to collect this free thing that they were excited about. Now they're on that page with the download button. Give them another call to action. Invite them to a webinar. Invite them to a discovery call with you. Have them join your Facebook group. Whatever that next action you want them to take is, put it there. That is valuable, valuable real estate. Okay? So that's it for the pages that you need to create. You need to create your opt-in page, your thank you page, and your delivery page. All right. Now I want to take a quick look at the emails, okay, because that's going to be next up. 8th step to business success, the welcome email. Okay. This is your first email that you're going to send out to them. You want to make it short and sweet. You want to give them the link, as we just mentioned, to collect the gift they sign up for, and you want to pique their interest for more. What do I mean by this? And again, I told you guys, some of this is very beginner news to you, but I'm adding the nuance. It's going to be important and make a difference for you. In that welcome email, you want to tell them, say, hey, Peggy, over the next 5 to 7 days, I'm going to be sending you a daily email with more valuable tips related to whatever the lead magnet is that you just had them sign up for. Okay. This notification is designed to entice them to look for your emails. And it's going to solidify their knowledge of who you are over this next week as they get to know you and remember you. So for the next 5 to 7 days, you'll be running what is known as an indoctrination sequence. Okay. You may not like the name, but that is truly what it does. You're indoctrinating them to know who you are, look for your emails, and open them. And you do this by setting up this sequence that says, I'm going to give you, let's use mine as a real world example. If someone opts in for my podcasting course, I know that they're interested in podcasting, right? That's why they opted in for this report. It's the simple 5-step process to launch a rockin' podcast in 14 days. If they opt in for that, I know they're interested in podcasting. So I tell them, hey, over the next 7 days, I'm going to send you an email every day with a different way to monetize your podcast. You won't want to miss this. Notice that we're teasing it out. We're going to be looking for these, and we set it up that it's going to be a topic they want. So day one, method one. And then in each email, you're going to tease what the next one is. Just a little bit of a pique their interest on it to get them looking for those emails. Okay. It's going to provide an additional tip, support, but it needs to be specific to the lead magnet that they just got. And this works so well. I got to tell you, the number of emails I've received where people go, hey, Michael, I missed email number 4. Could you send that to me again? Because they get indoctrinated to look for those and they're excited about it. Okay. It's invaluable. And if you aren't utilizing an indoctrination sequence, you're leaving money on the table. Okay. During the sequence, by the way, don't try to sell anything. And I'm not saying don't make offers. Okay. I want to be real clear. There's selling and there's offers. I'm saying to avoid asking for any money yet. You could offer a webinar, a discovery call, a workshop, anything else for free, but don't sell quite yet. This first week, you're just getting to know each other. In the last email in the sequence, my advice would be to invite them to an event, perhaps a webinar or workshop, and then maybe offer something that you would sell for a price. Okay, everybody picking this up? Yeah, picking up what I'm laying down? Once that sequence is complete, and depending on how frequently you do broadcast emails, you're going to want to add them to nurture sequences. Now, what is a nurture sequence? A nurture sequence is a series of weekly emails, okay, that are evergreen in nature. And by evergreen in nature, I mean, you got to think of it in these terms. Let's say you have an email sequence for nurturing of 52. It's going to last a whole year, 52 weeks of the year, and you're going to send one a week. Well, you got to remember, Peggy may sign up for my list today, and she's going to start that nurture sequence 1 week from today. Remember, because first she gets the indoctrination sequence. Then she starts a nurture sequence. So she's going to start 1 week from today. Well, Angela, maybe she won't sign up for my list for a month or 2 down the road. But guess what? She's still going to start on email number 1. And Ethan, maybe he doesn't sign up for 6 months. He still starts at email number 1. So it has to be evergreen. These emails do not say things like, what did you think about the football game last night? Or what do you think about the Super Bowl? Because they may not see it until 6 months later. It has to be evergreen in nature, just something that is viable and universal. Like it's valuable information that stands the test of time no matter when they receive it. Okay. So that is your nurture sequence. And you know what? I'm probably going to do a whole video series on the email sequencing. So keep an eye out for that. That's another good reason to subscribe to our channel. It's definitely something worth looking into. All right. So let's do a final review here. And we're going to do this one more time around. I know I said 10 things, but actually there was 11 because you're going to jump away to do the lead magnet. But here's what you've got to have for a successful business startup. Okay. Number 1, you got to know what you're going to sell. Number 2, who are you going to sell it to? Number 3, set up your CRM, get it rocking and rolling. Number 4, make sure it's ready to tag people as they come into your world. We haven't even built anything to sell yet. Okay. Number 5, your lead magnet is built. You now have something to attract people into your world. Do the video on lead magnetization. Okay. Next up, your opt-in page is built and ready to go to give them that lead magnet when they want it. Your thank you page is done. Your delivery pages, or sorry, for next year, your welcome email will go out first. Even before you worry about the delivery page, you got to make sure that welcome email is to fire out because that's what sends them to the delivery page, and your delivery page is ready to go. And you need to be sure that your indoctrination sequence is set up. So they get the welcome email, and the very next day, they start this series of 5 to 7 indoctrination emails. Next, your nurture sequence is in place so that once they're through that week of indoctrination, now they're getting weekly emails from you. All right. This is it, folks. This is business in a box. It's the foundation that you need. Okay. I'm going to trust that you're already good at fulfilling. You know what it is you have to offer. You can find outside support to build an online course or whatever it is. You design a coaching program, make a high ticket offer. But this is the foundation. And you got to have a list to make this successful. Okay. The power of your online business is in your list. So you need to start growing it today. And all the while that you're growing this list, using this stuff that I just showed you, now you can be building offers, creating your course, writing your book, etc. If you start all that stuff first, then you got to turn around and start growing the list. You've got to ask backwards, as my mom would always say. Okay. Now, I'm not going to be one of those coaches who masks the reality of business. I like to lay it out like it is. And just because you built this first part, including your lead magnet, it doesn't mean that you're going to have hundreds or thousands of people clamoring to subscribe to your list. You're going to have to get that lead magnet in front of them. Because you got to remember, as this slide says, Business 101, the power of your online business is in your list. And Amy Porterfield puts it this way, and this is an old quote, and I use it a lot, but she's up over 100 million now. But this was back when she was doing less still. She said, after 13 years in business, 46,000 students, and 43 million in revenue, I can confidently say when your email list grows, your business grows with it. Okay. And the easiest way to grow that list is by getting that lead magnet in front of the right eyeballs, and not just a few of the right eyeballs, lots of the right eyeballs. Okay. And the best way to maximize your leads and get in front of these eyeballs is through giveaways. Now, I don't know if you know what a giveaway is or not. I know some of you probably do if you've been following me for a while. A giveaway is a collection of valuable free gifts, often in the form of lead magnets. It's a collection of lead magnets, if you will, thoughtfully curated by a single host and contributed by a diverse range of guest experts. So let's say we did a giveaway with everybody in this room right now, everybody watching this. We now all put in our lead magnet into the giveaway, the gift basket, if you will, and each of us promotes the gift basket. Well, now the people from my list who go, oh, cool, I want some of those gifts. That looks like a cool basket. Well, they jump in and then they go through that list of gifts and they go, wow, I want Angela's gift and Diana's, and ooh, Ethan's got something cool, and Irina has something nice, and Jeff. And so they're going through picking the other things and they're opting into your lists. And that's how you grow your list quickly with a giveaway. And the value of this is that it's putting your lead magnet in front of hundreds of thousands of potential leads immediately. Can you grow your list by putting your lead magnet on your website? Absolutely. And put it in your social media? Absolutely. And you will grow it slowly in a little trickle. But if you want to get it in front of hundreds of thousands of potential leads immediately, giveaways is a great way to do that. And the value of a giveaway, too, is that you're getting warm leads. These are people who are from someone else's list. And so what do you know about them? Okay, so let's say we're all in a giveaway together, this artificial giveaway I just was talking about. If I promote it to my list and then they opt in, well, what do you know about that person? You know two things right off the bat. They're interested in this world of online marketing because they're on my list. And number two, they open emails. They're engaged. Okay. So now they've come in. If they opt into your list, that's a warm lead. They've come in through me, someone that they know, like, and trust. And now they're in your world. So the leads are warm. They're highly targeted because the giveaway that we're talking about is specific target audience. Like I've got one coming up called the Podcast Super Resource Deck. We know that that's designed to target people who are interested in podcasting. So the leads are targeted. It's a short duration. Giveaways usually run about 2 to 3 weeks. At Infinite List, we run them for 3 weeks, and boom, you're in front of hundreds of thousands of people right away. It builds your authority because it positions you with the other guest experts in that giveaway basket. Okay. They're like, oh, these people, you hang out with these people. It elevates your know, like, trust factor that way. And it grows your network because now you're in this group playing with a lot of other people who are great potential partners for you. So the value of giveaways is enormous. And as an ongoing strategy, it gives you a low cost per lead. They're consistent because you're doing them on a regular basis. It's high quantity. It's not that trickle I talked about earlier. It's high quantity on a regular month by month, month after month way. These leads are warm, as we talked about, and it's so easy to implement. It's not like you got to add a whole other thing to your business. It's super, super easy. And of course, at Infinite List, we make it even easier because of the platform we've created. And we do this in a way that allows you to participate in as little as $250 to get started. You can participate in 12 or more giveaways throughout the year. We have some of our members doing 20 to 25 giveaways every year, and you will grow your list by thousands year after year. And as a matter of fact, we're going to do a special one-time offer for today, and then we'll get into the Q&A. But this offer expires February 5th, and it's as low as $250 to get started with membership. But I'm also going to give you a coupon code, YouTube 100, all caps, writing out YouTube and then 100, and make sure it's all caps. It'll save an extra $100 for you. So you can go to the link you find there if you want to scan in the QR code, or just go to infinite-list.com and get signed up, and you can get started really cheaply inside our platform and start growing that list so that you can do everything else that we've talked about to get you set up for success. Christy Rufino, and this is an old quote. We were just chatting with her the other day. The leads closed. She said 3,161 leads and closed 10,000 sales. Just recently, she said it's now up over 30,000 in sales that she's generated. And she's been a member for just about 2 years. Okay, so the return on investment is huge. Virginia Parsons says, my email list has nearly doubled in a few short months. Skipping down to the end there. As a result, I attracted 2 new clients in the first month, which more than covered the cost of Infinite List's annual membership for the whole year. And she did that in the first couple of months. If you want to grow your list with new leads and attract more clients, joining Infinite List is a no-brainer. Nedra Wendell says that since pivoting my business and working with Michael and Chris, I've seen incredible results. My lead list has grown by 800 quality leads just since the spring. This quote, again, is from some time ago. I think she did that over a period of about 3 months. And this one also is really great from Diane Forster. She managed to get 88 opt-ins, and more impressively from that, and this is from one giveaway, generated 16,000 in revenue. Now, are these results typical? Not necessarily. What is typical is if you play full out, if you come in and you jump into giveaways and you know how to sell on the back end, you will make money. And here's the other part of it. For any of you who may know or follow Alex Hormozy, he says, as long as you know how to get a continual flow of leads, you have endless opportunities to get it right. In other words, you keep the leads flowing in, you can get better at sales, you'll get better at your offer and better at your fulfillment, but you need a constant flow of leads to make that work so that you can get better. And Infinite List is a great way to do that. So there's the QR code again, the link. If you want to go to, it's infinite-list.com. And don't forget the coupon code YouTube100 to get started today and save $100. So literally it means if you join on a monthly plan for 150 bucks, you're in the door. All right, so I'm going to stop the share here, and we're going to open up the Q&A. And I see we've got a couple of questions already in the chat, so I will start with those. How do you get into the giveaways? The way it works, and I'm going to tell you the way it worked pre-Infinite List and the way it works now, okay? Pre-Infinite List, you had to get invited, okay? It means you had to know someone well enough that they would reach out to you and say, "Hey, Peggy, do you want to be in my giveaway?" And they would charge you. It's typically most giveaways I've been in are anywhere from 197 up to $500. And the reason they charge you is because it's a lot of work. They're building all the pages. They're building the registration page, the opt-in page, the thank you page. They're handling the customer service. They're making sure to collect all of the lead magnets and the links and the images and the descriptions and putting it all together. So there's a lot of labor for the host. Okay. In the old way, you had to get invited. And by the way, also in the old way, I remember the first giveaway I wanted to be in. I heard about it and I reached out to them and said, "Hey, can I be in your giveaway?" And their response was, "Well, how big is your list?" And I said, 300. And they're like, "No, your list isn't big enough. Sorry." And it was really discouraging. But it also made me realize, crap, I need to grow my list so I can play in a bigger level. And so guess what I did? Well, I went out and started my own giveaway because when you're the creator, you get to set the ground rules. But that's a whole other story. But in that process, I started doing giveaways on a regular basis. I started mastering them. I used them to not only grow my list, but to grow my podcast audience. And then what happened is I had a lot of people start asking me how I was doing all this. And so they said, "Well, can you teach us?" And I said, "Sure." So I started teaching giveaways. And then it was at one of these 3 day, I would do a 3 day retreat on build your giveaway over the 3 days. And it was at one of these that one of the people raised their hand and they said, "Oh, Michael, that's so much work. There's so many pages to build. There's so much stuff to do. Could you just build it for me?" And I had one of those aha moments and I thought, well, yeah, why not? I mean, my team does them really easily now. Sure. And so we worked out a plan and I started doing a done for you giveaway service. And then, and this is the big kicker and to the long way of answering how do you get into the giveaways, I decided to bring it all under one roof. I noticed that a lot of the hosts were coming back to me year after year and going, "Hey, I want you to run my next giveaway again." And a lot of people were signing up for multiple giveaways. They would sign up to be in this giveaway and that giveaway and that giveaway and that giveaway. And I thought, wow, the people who understand the power of giveaways like to play in giveaways. Why don't I create a community around it? And create a giveaway calendar so that all the giveaways exist in one calendar and members can simply pay a low monthly fee, go to our giveaway calendar and go, "I want to be in this one. I want to be in this one. I want to be in this one," based on the right fit and the fact that it works in their timing for their calendar for emailing. So that's how you do it. You join Infinite List, you go to our giveaway calendar and you see which ones you want to jump in. Really pretty simple. Oh, there's a question about what did I act in? I had big roles in small films that you've probably never heard of, and little roles in big films. I was in The Patriot with Mel Gibson. I still get residual checks for that, which is kind of nice. As a matter of fact, I just got one here the other day. It's kind of wild. This is the SAG after check. What's cool about residuals? This is work. It was $180.61, but guess what? I did that 25 years ago and I still get checks every quarter. So it's kind of nice. Okay, so enough in the acting piece. So back to giveaways. Any other questions about this at all? You can just raise your hand or unmute yourself. Happy to answer this. If any of you, yes, Peggy, fire away.
Yes. So I cannot remember, but is there a minimum of your list to participate in the giveaways? I cannot remember, Michael.
That's a great question. And the answer is yes and no. And let me explain. We do set a threshold. And here's why. And also, I'm going to give you guys a little sidebar training of a red flag. If someone says, "Hey, do you want to be in my giveaway?" and you ask them, "Well, how big a list size do I need?" and if they say it doesn't matter, I'd run the other way. And the reason I would is because that means they're letting anybody in. And if you've got 30 people in a giveaway, all with zero list, no one's going to have any growth. Okay? That giveaway is going to tank. So at Infinite List, we do set a minimum. The host can say, "I want it to be a minimum list size of 1,000 or 1,500, whatever that may be." However, because we get it, we all started with zero list. We want to help you get over that threshold. And so in each giveaway, we allow up to 3 members with zero list. Now, most of them have at least some list, but literally, if you're starting out even with zero, great place to start. You can be in a giveaway. We allow 3 in each one who don't meet the threshold. Then what we do, because here's the other way to look at it. Well, I don't want to go into too many details on it, but we support you. Let me just put it that way. So we will help you to get that list growing. Other questions at all? And for those of you who may be wondering about the replay for this, by tomorrow, I think tomorrow you're going to get another automated email. But by then, we will have moved this over to YouTube and we will put the YouTube link into that email. So you'll have the link to watch the replay if you want to. But also, man, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I think it's a super worthy channel. We got a lot of great, valuable information there. I try to put these out on a weekly basis. And we're even starting to look at doing some little mini trainings that are just short little sound bites instead of these 1 hour things. But hope you guys will subscribe and check it out. Awesome. Diana just subscribed. Thank you. Appreciate it. And we will continue to do this MBA series, but also we've got, I think somewhere in the next couple of months, we're going to be doing a 3-day event called Infinite Impact. We got a lot of stuff going on, and if you like hanging out with folks like myself, podcasting, want to get on shows, other things like that, just build your business acumen and grow your network. The Podcasters Cruise, I just want to give a quick plug on that because the price is going up in 3 days. And so go to podcastersatsea.com and book your ticket if you want to join us for that before the price goes up. I mean, you'll still be able to join after February 5th, but you'll be saving some money if you get in sooner. Plus, it's only a $250 deposit to book your cabin, and we spread your payments out over time, so it's almost like a vacation plan. So it's not like hitting you all big right up front. Okay. So that is it. I'm going to pop the link into the chat for y'all in case some of you may not have gotten the QR code to work. So let me put some links in the chat there. And be sure to save the chat before we go. There you go. I put the link for Infinite List and the coupon code YouTube100 to get $100 off. That is good till February 5th. And I put our YouTube channel link there in case you guys haven't found it yet and want to go over and check it out. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, then thank you all so much for joining me on this weekend. I know there's a lot of other things that you could be doing, but it's a pleasure to hang out with you and support you. And we'll catch you on the next one, you guys. Ciao, everybody.